All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something that's become this huge cultural and economic powerhouse. It's been quietly reshaping the entertainment world, literally one scroll at a time, and that's Korean webtoons. So, you've definitely heard of K-pop, right? And you've probably binge-watched a K-drama or two. But the Korean wave, what they call Hallyu, it's got this new, massive pillar holding it up. We're talking about a totally new way to experience comics, something that started in South Korea and is now, well, it's taking the entire world by storm. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at why webtoons are such a global thing. Then, we'll dive into the insane money behind it all. After that, we'll tackle the ocean of news stories coming out. I'll even help you find your next favorite. And finally, we'll see how these comics are basically fueling the entire entertainment industry. All right, first up, let's really get a grip on why these are so important culturally. This isn't just a trend, we're talking about a whole new cornerstone of the Korean wave.
So, what even is a webtoon? Well, the idea is actually super simple, but it's also kind of revolutionary. Think about it. They're digital comics made from the ground up to be read on your phone. So you're not flipping pages from left to right. Nope, you just scroll down. And that simple change, that vertical scroll, creates this amazing, seamless way to tell a story. It's just perfectly made for how we use our phones today.
And trust me, this format is an absolute game changer. It's not just a new way for us to read comics, it's totally changing how they're made. Creators get to use this like endless vertical canvas. They can play with paneling and pacing in ways that would be completely impossible in a printed book. It's a real, genuine evolution of how to tell a story with pictures. Okay, so you've got this cool creative innovation, but how does that translate into cold, hard cash? Well, let's look at the numbers, because we are not talking about some niche hobby here. This is big business. And when I say big, I mean the numbers are just staggering. The global market was already hitting nearly $4 billion back in 2021. But get this, the projection, it's expected to explode to over $56 billion by 2030. That's insane. We're talking a growth rate of almost 37% year over year. And a lot of that is fueled by how easy they are to access, and that whole freemium model where you can just jump in and start reading for free. And look, this isn't just some wild guess about the future. If you just look at the home market in South Korea, the growth has been absolutely meteoric. I mean, in just 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, the market more than quadrupled. It shot past $1 billion US. You can see that crazy upward curve right here on the chart. So where's all this money coming from? Well, the biggest chunk, no surprise, is paid content. That's just readers like you and me paying for episodes. But check out the other slices of the pie because they tell a really interesting story. Overseas money is growing like crazy. And see that little slice for IP rights sales? That's the secret ingredient. It might look small, but it's where these stories get sold to become TV shows, movies, you name it. And that, as we'll see, is a huge deal. Right. So this whole massive industry runs on one thing: stories. And the sheer volume of new comics being pumped out, honestly, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Just to give you a sense of the scale, the big English language publishers are basically in a content arms race. It's wild. Let's just grab a snapshot from a single month. Let's say February of this year. Okay, get this. Just one publisher, 7 Seas Entertainment, dropped 135 new releases. Let me put that in perspective for you. That's more than 4 new comics coming out every single day from just one company. Then you've got their main competitor, Yen Press. They weren't slacking either. They put out another 128. And remember, that's just 2 publishers. When you tally up the numbers from just a handful of the big players, you're looking at over 439 new comics in 1 month. The volume is it's absolutely mind-boggling. Which, leads to a pretty important question, right? When you're standing in front of a fire hose of new comics, where do you even begin to find the good stuff? So, let's do a little treasure hunting. I want to show you a few standout manhwa, that's the Korean term for these comics, from earlier this year, just to give you a taste of the wild, genre-bending creativity that's out there right now. Okay, take a look at this one, Return of the Demonic Instructor. So on one hand, you've got your typical Marim story. That's the Korean martial arts genre, swords and fists. But then you look at what this story is actually doing, and our hero is casting fireballs and fighting alien invasions. It's this incredible mashup of fantasy, sci-fi, and classic martial arts action. Or how about this for a pitch?
Vincent the Great is being described as Constantine meets Helsing. I mean, come on, that one sentence tells you everything you need to know, right? You're getting a dark, super stylish, ghost hunting thriller. It's a perfect example of how they're selling these stories to a global audience that gets those references. And the variety is just off the charts. I mean, in that same little window of time, you had everything from a fresh historical romance called The Prince Doesn't Cry Over Onions to a super bleak fantasy about a skeleton messenger and even a wholesome romance for fans of classics like Fruits Basket. I'm telling you, there is something for absolutely everyone. And this all leads us to maybe the most important point of all. Webtoons aren't just for comic fans anymore, not by a long shot. They've become this incredible engine, this foundational source of fresh ideas for the entire entertainment scene. And the fan communities are just massive. You have to understand, this isn't just something people read on their phones. It bleeds into the real world. Just look at this box of merchandise. You've got photo cards, lightstick key rings, banners. This is the kind of stuff you'd expect for a top-tier K-pop group. The fan connection here runs deep. And hey, remember that little slice of the pie for IP rights? This is where it becomes a giant. Webtoons are basically a perfect testing ground for new stories. Think about huge hit shows like All of Us Are Dead or Extraordinary Attorney Woo. Those didn't start out in some Hollywood writer's room. No, they started as massively popular webtoons that already had a huge, passionate audience. So really, that's the big takeaway here. The webtoon isn't just the future of comics. It has become this amazing creative engine, just pumping out endless fresh stories that are already tested, already beloved by fans, and ready to be turned into the next hit TV show or movie. So as this whole phenomenon just keeps growing, moving from our phones to literally everywhere else, the real question isn't if webtoons are going to reshape another part of pop culture. The real question is, what's next on their list?